We interrupt your regularly scheduled programming to bring you some breaking news. There's been reports all over the area of something crazy going on, something big. People's homes, their minds even, are being taken over by something called, what is it they're calling it? They're calling it Bad Movie Debate.
What up, nerds? It's Bad Movie Debate with Jacob Babb. Got another traditional debate episode coming your way in just a second. But first, some unfortunate news. Liquid IV has pulled their campaign that they were doing on podcast, kind of like across the board. So, like, I don't have my Liquid IV ad anymore. My code is not going to be good in the future anymore, unfortunately. It's not anything anybody did. They just are taking that money and marketing it somewhere else, you know? So it is what it is. But the good news is my code is still active until the end of like the third quarter in terms of like business quarter. So like the code will still work. I just won't get paid. So you can still get 20% off with my code for a little bit, but I don't get paid. So get some Liquid IV now. Still use my code. That's totally fine. Like I encourage you. I still used it. And I didn't get paid. I didn't get to pay myself to get Liquid IV, but you know, it's still a good product and everything. They're just taking that money and repurposing it for some other kind of marketing campaign. So everybody who had it lost it. No big deal. But besides that, that's the only bad news there is, which is not that bad. So like I said, new debate episode coming at you right now. And we got me, who you know, and Asia, speak now.
Oh my God, hey, it's me, Asia.
All right. We got Asia Jolly with us today.
Oh my God. Not speak now.
She specifically told me to let me know when she was allowed to talk.
I didn't want to interrupt. I wanted to hear the ad.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, my housekeeping. Well, the good news, housekeeping is over, and now we're just hanging out. Now we're just vibing.
Hey.
All right, so we're gonna do. I actually hadn't seen this movie until last night when I was like, "Fuck, I need to watch this movie." Yeah, I'd never seen this movie.
That's insane.
And
okay.
you know, no, dude, because we're doing This Is 40 with Leslie Mann and Judd Apatow, or not Judd Apatow, Paul Rudd, directed by Judd Apatow, written by Judd Apatow. So we're going to do our top 5 Judd Apatow movies to see where we land in terms of Judd Apatow movies, and then we'll do the quotes and the scores, and then we'll get into talking about it. Asia, what are your top 5 Judd Apatow movies? It's hard to pick 5 because I went to his little page on IMDb when I was getting my notes ready, and I was like, shit, he's produced, because I was like, he didn't have to write it or direct it. It could just be something he produced, because he produced a bunch of stuff. Yeah.
He's been a producer in like everything, it feels like. So
yeah, exactly. So what do you got?
This is just 5 films, no order. Like they're not ranked in any way.
That's why I always do it too.
Maybe I have a number 1. I don't know. But so I have Talladega Nights, Super Bad,
Bad,
Forgetting Sarah Marshall,
Bad.
Hold on. This is 40 is actually on the list.
Ooh.
Yes, and then. Wait, is that 5? This is 40, Talladega Nights, Super Bad, Pineapple Express, and Forgetting Sarah Marshall.
Oh, yeah, you hadn't said Pineapple Express yet.
Okay.
Pineapple Express.
Sorry. Yes, and then honorable mention, actually, because it's not a movie, but it's just fire. Freaks and Geeks. Yeah, 100%. So I couldn't not say it, you know? It had to be
absolutely.
Had to be mentioned, so.
I mean, like, that's straight up almost exactly my list, down to the honorable mention. Like, I was also gonna honorably mention Freaks and Geeks because it's just like so good, but it's like technically not. And like all those guys like got their start there.
They're all there,
and then like Linda Cardellini like got her big start there and everything. Like, and she's amazing. They're all amazing in it. Like, it's such a good show. Ridiculous it got canceled like when it did. To be honest, like honestly,
the world wasn't ready. The world wasn't ready. That's what it was.
You're right. If that had come out now. With like
Elite,
like if that cast was coming up now and Judd Apatow made that now, like
it would have just been Euphoria though.
Like, Yeah, but like, you know, without all like the, but like better.
Quite literally,
like,
down to his daughter. Down to his daughter.
It would have been so much better. Like, it would have been so much better. It's fine. It's so much better. Freaks and Geeks is better than Euphoria. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah. Oh,
what anyone
100%.
says.
100%.
Okay.
The writing is just immediately better. There is no real writing.
Exactly.
Anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Cool. So we got that out of the way. So my list, no particular order, is Superbad,
Elite.
Forgetting Sarah Marshall, Pineapple Express, The 40-Year-Old Virgin, and Step Brothers.
Okay. So the number 40 did appear in both of our lists. That's good.
Yes. Yeah. So that is like, we had almost the exact same list. And you said Talladega Nights, and I said Step Brothers, which is a Will Ferrell, John C. Reilly combo movie.
So we kept the same energy vibes, same all the way through. Honestly.
Exactly. So like, we both know what we're talking about when it comes to Judd Apatow. Even down to the honorable mention. Like, yes. Ridiculous. That's so funny that you said that, because I was like, I'm going to say it.
I was like, I immediately knew when you were like films, I had a text ready to send you this morning that was like, but what about shows that were just asking for a friend? Right. I was like, no, I'm going to surprise him with this honorable mention.
Yeah. Hell yeah. I was going to surprise you, and here we are. I think we're both surprised now, which is perfect.
Love it.
Amazing. All right, so let's get into the reviews first. So we're doing This Is 40, which is on your list, which is always fun when it's on somebody's favorite list. So we got Rotten Tomatoes critic score is 51, which you can barely get. You can't get more in the middle than that, except for the user score, which is 50. It's 51 and 50. It is like one of the closest side by like user and critic scores I've seen on anything I've done on the show. Like, that is tight.
It's a complex film, a complex piece of cinema. It has the people torn.
Apparently. And then IMDb, as always, is 6.2. It's always in the sixes. Classic. I don't think, I don't know, maybe somebody text me if I'm wrong or like message me. I think every single episode, every single movie I've done has been between 6.1 and 6.9. I think every single one on IMDb. Always in the middle of the road for IMDb, which is weird to me. Especially based on some of the shit that I've done on this show. So there's been some shit on this show. And then the Metacritic, this one's even weirder. The critic score, 59, and then the user score, which is 1 out of 10, like IMDb is 5.9. So like the exact same on Metacritic, which is usually a lot harsher. Like, so like that's
so maybe I was wrong. The people aren't conflicted. The people are very sure about this movie because the critics and everyone they're very down the middle. That's crazy because it's like it's a solid 10 out of 10 for me personally.
I mean, we'll get into it here in a second. But to be honest, spoiler alert. I'm saying it's bad.
Cut it. We'll fix it in post. It's fine.
No, I do that work. We will not fix it in post. It's gonna be right there. Everybody know. All right. So we got good review, which is always less fun than the bad review. But this is good review. It's a good review. Okay. This is from Peter Howell for the Toronto Star. He said, quote, "The movie frequently shifts from comic to dramatic and back again, true to Apatow's Whiplash style, but also true to life," end quote. It's a pretty good quote. And I get what they're saying. Because there are moments where it's like, this is funny, and then you're like, holy shit, this is really intense. But that is like life. You know? Yeah. So, and Apatow does that, like, I mean, Forgetting Sarah Marshall, Superbad, all those movies, like, you see that, like, kind of whiplashy style. It's more dramatic in this movie, I think, but that's kind of the point. So,
yeah,
I get it.
I think it's because
what Peter's saying.
Movie, like, imitates life more than, like, a lot of his other movies, so it's, like, the drama is, like, more, it resonates more, because you're like, this, I've had this conversation with a partner, or I've felt this way. Yeah.
So, like, what part of Pineapple Express is unrealistic, though? Like, what part?
Like,
every moment in that movie.
When you phrase it like that, I actually can't pinpoint. Actually, it's all realistic.
That's based on a true story, obviously.
That's everyone's experience. Smoking experience.
Yeah, everybody's been through that. It's fine. Yes, you're right. I agree with you. You're right. It is more true. That's a good quote. And the bad review.
Oh, no.
I love the bad reviews are always so fucking snarky. And I always try to find the snarkiest and the shortest one. So this is Michael Phillips for Chicago Tribune. He said, quote, more like this is whiny, end quote.
Oh my gosh. Wow, quick to the point though. Snappy.
It's more like this is whiny. What a bitch quote.
Yeah,
what a bitch.
Did you get paid for that, sir?
Yeah, oh, absolutely. These come from professional film reviewers for newspapers. I always go for the top critics only, not user opinion. Only people who are getting paid to comment on it, who make up the 51% of the critic score. Those people, I always get quotes from them, good and bad, and they're just always so fucking rude. The mean ones are so funny to me.
It's a fun way to vent. I guess if I was a movie critic, that would be my outlet. Once
I always shit on them, the critics, but I would love to get paid to be a movie critic and would do the same thing. It'd be more
I just
exactly.
To be paid to be a hater, I mean, as much as I hate a hater, come on. It's kind of
But you're getting paid to be a hater.
Love it.
You can't hate. Hey, you can't
chase that bag.
I don't know. Yeah, chase the bag. Yeah, exactly. See, all right. So we'll both work on. This will blow up, and we'll both professionally talk about movies.
We'll both be chasing our bag. Love
it. Exactly. All right. So that's the bad review. So I want to ask. I actually forgot to write down my my thing. I'll figure it out on the fly. I'm gonna ask you first. So you like this movie. So what's something you didn't like about the movie? And I'll say something I do like about the movie. Okay. Overall, to kind of balance us out a little bit before we start screaming at each other about our true opinions.
So I watched it, and I watched it a couple days ago just to prep. And halfway through, I was like, this movie could have been an hour and a half. That is my there's a point
That's
where
somewhere in my notes.
Yeah, it's 2 hours and 15 minutes, 2 hours and 2 hours even, or something like that. And for it to just be
it's 2:10.
Yeah, for it to just be a for the most part, I would say it falls mostly in that genre of kind of a rom-com situation.
Yeah.
2
hours. Honestly, maybe like a dramedy, even. Yeah.
And it's
it's way
2 hours is a lot. When there's a lot of points where I'm we could have just edited that out. That would have been a fun blooper clip or a special.
Yeah, I mean, it could have. I don't know. Some parts you could have told in a shorter way, or
yes.
You this part of the narrative could have been
the whole dad
shown in a different
storyline. Both of the dad's storylines, they took up actually quite a lot of screen time and to discuss, only to not really get anywhere. So it was
I feel they I feel they put those in because there's bits in there. You know what I mean? It's there's comedy bits in there, so it's oh, we want to have this scene because I have all these funny bits that I want for this scene.
Well, because you have
the scene's going to be 20 minutes long.
Yeah.
Because of bits,
Right. So that's my I think my biggest critique of the movie, right?
It's definitely too long. It's definitely too long. I think this is probably one of his longer ones because most of his stuff usually clocks in about 1:45. I feel like.
Yeah, I feel
yeah, this is an extra 15 minutes longer than most of his stuff. Could be wrong, but I'm just guessing. But at least his other ones don't feel like they're as long as this one, so they might not actually be. But something I did like though, I mean, I would say the thing that I like the most is, I mean, I'm never mad seeing Leslie Mann and Paul Rudd in a movie. You know what I mean?
Fair, yeah.
And just like, I mean, there obviously are genuinely funny ass moments. It's Judd Apatow. Like, come
Yeah.
on. Like, it's
Like
obviously
I
funny.
cracked up.
Like,
Like, this was my first time watching it, like last night. Like,
yeah.
watching it again. So, yeah.
Like, hold on. There was something that really fucking hit me that I wrote down that I was like, that's funny as fuck. Like, that's just like that just like lost. I like kind of lost my.
Wait,
Honestly, it was the whole. Go for it.
I was gonna say what? I wonder what it was because I wrote down two things that I remember like cracking up at.
So the one that no, not that. Where did it go? I think it's the one oh it was the it was the shit with after the mom Leslie Mann yells at the fucking Bieber kid
Oh my god!
and then Paul Rudd gets confronted by that kid's mom.
Yes.
Like that scene slash the scene which that's Melissa McCarthy, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It is.
Yeah,
It
okay.
is.
Like her scenes were probably the two funniest ones where she's
Oh.
talking to Paul Rudd and then when they go into the principal's office and she's just
she
like
loses it.
and she just loses it and she's just like, this is why no one fucking likes you with that fucking bullshit haircut and like all the like that shit was funny as fuck. That was the part where I was like
A car
most
insurance
genuinely like dying. Yeah, exactly. That was what it
Yes.
was. It was these two over here look like a fucking
and like the fact that they didn't even like
commercial.
try to argue back to her, it was just like, yeah, I guess like fuck
Yeah.
you. It's just
Yeah, like,
so good.
just like the fact that like yeah, the car or you look like these two look like they're in a bank like a fucking bank commercial right now. Like
Yes.
that
So
had me
good.
dying. Like that was probably the funniest thing. So like it is genuinely funny in moments for sure. Which is also crazy because I'm not the biggest Melissa McCarthy fan. She's not bad, but like that was one of the funniest things in the entire fucking thing. Like no doubt in my mind.
No,
Like
for sure.
that was ridiculous. So it is very funny when it needs to be. So I like that. Obviously, it's funny and everything. But did we need this movie? Does this movie work as a 2 hour and 15-minute long entire narrative? You know what I mean?
Okay, you asked so many questions. Did we need this movie? Yes. Did it work as 2 hours and 15 minutes? I could see how it could be like a good hour 45 pristine movie. Like I think it added something to one, I think it added something to like Judd Apatow's like um movie repertoire. Like it added kind of a like again like that realistic piece where like you get to explore. Also, it doesn't hurt that like Leslie Mann is his wife and the girls that played his daughters are his real daughters. Like this was like
Yeah.
him getting to like kind of more so express coming to terms with like himself almost like and where he
Yeah.
was at and like real versus like just having an outlet for you and your friends to just like kind of fuck around. So like do I think it like has a place? Yes. Do I think it has like do I think that hit with people as well as the rest of his films? Probably not, because I think it's like if you're a fan of his like work and you're a fan of like his other movies, you'll be a fan of this per se, but it's not something maybe that in a void you could be like, oh, this is like a top 10 top peak movie, because it
Yeah,
only
if this
really
was
like
the first
yes, if this was the first way to be like
yeah.
this is Judd Apatow as a producer as a like
Yeah.
it would be kind of confusing because the jokes, the people, like Jason Segel's whole character, you're like, who the fuck is this guy? Like,
My favorite fucking character, honestly.
no, top 10 character, but you don't realize that like that's basically Jason Segel in every Judd Apatow movie.
Yeah.
Like,
Bodies by Jason.
yeah, her butt used to be here, but now it's here. Like, it's
I did that. I did that. And when he's talking to Megan Fox, and she's like, "Bodies by Jason, say that." Bodies by Jason. Bodies by Jason, say that. Now just say Jason. Jason, doesn't that feel right? Yeah. And then and the dude from the IT crowd is in between them, and he's like, "What the fuck is going on?" Like, and he's just like slaying with Megan Fox. Like he's just like she is like completely into him. Like
yes, like that is just like
so
something.
funny.
I feel like it wouldn't hit if you didn't know like if you're just watching it, you're like, that's kind of weird. Like, what is that? Like, what?
Yeah.
So that's where I think it fits, like, in his like repertoire, I feel like.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, I get that. And I think that makes sense. I just feel like, I don't know, like, it's one of those things where it's like, it's called This Is 40. It's about growing up, and like having kids and like getting old, or not growing up, but like getting older and like having kids and like marriage and like doing all that and stuff. And like, it just seems like, even though there are very funny moments in it and stuff, it just feels like it's a little too niche about like what they're going through in the dramatic parts. So it's not like they're over dramatic about what's happening, because there's serious stuff that they're dealing with and stuff. But at the same time, it kind of bothered me that, like, Paul Rudd's character, like, his whole fucking business is about to go under, and he just won't fucking talk to his wife about it. And I'm like,
yes, there were points.
You're 40 years old, and you won't talk to your fucking wife about this? Like, you won't, like, you can't talk to your wife about this?
You've given
like, I don't know, like, that drives me crazy.
You've given 80K to your dad, and your wife doesn't know. Like, the way that I was like, I wrote that down and was like, this would be my divorce. Like, this would be part of the divorce. Like, exactly. What do you mean? You're keeping like 100K almost secrets from me? Like, that's insane.
Yeah,
but there are also points where, like, Leslie Mann, like, I even wrote this down where I'm like, girl, like, chill out, like, take a deep breath.
Dude,
like,
yes. Oh my God, dude.
Please take a deep breath. Like, I was like, I don't want to sound like a pick me, but like some of the stuff, like even the very first scene with the like Viagra, and she's like going crazy. And I'm like,
God, dude.
Personally, I'm like, y'all were having a good time until he accidentally said, like, you were fine. Like, y'all could have just kept having a good time. Like,
and then we find out later he's actually been taking it for 2 years.
Exactly. I'm like, girl, you see, like, you opened a can of worms. Like, you didn't want to know. Like, I just there's certain points where I'm like, there's certain like niche things about their personalities where I'm like, there's no way.
Yes.
Like, I don't relate to this because I'm not this kind of person, and I've never been with this kind of person per se. But like, I think overall, too, it's like I watched this movie when it came out. So I was like 18 when it came out, and then I watched it, and it mainly was for the funny bits, not the real life bits, because like I was 18, so like, what did I know about really anything that the movie was talking about other than like the giggles,
Yeah, it came out in 2012. 2012, 12 years ago. Like,
exactly.
We were much different people.
I was in a different space, and so like I watched it like a couple years ago, and then I watched it a couple days ago. And like watching it now, I will say that like it resonates a little bit more, like some of the like family dynamics and like navigating your friends and like navigating like not being like I don't know, like at work, like I'm not necessarily like the youngest like girly on the block anymore. Like there's definitely like younger. So it's just like, I don't know, like just navigating like certain things that are like, oh, okay, I see. Like this joke makes more sense to me, or this kind of like thing. But yeah, some of the things I was like, this is a crazy thing to be arguing about. Like,
well, no, dude, what I had written down for her, like when she was like, this like random moments where she was just driving me crazy, and I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? You're getting that mad at him about this? When he's like, at the end of the day, I guess she's mad at him because he's not taking a shit. He's just sitting on the toilet to get away from them and stuff.
Yes.
But like the fact that, which is hilarious, and like honestly, like it's like that's kind of like a classic dad bit, like, well, I just got shit. But then also in my mind, I was like, he might just need to take more shits. He's 40, you know? Like maybe it's genuinely taking shit.
She was like, he's like, I 30 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah, he's like, I already flushed. Like, I flush as I go. And it's like, okay, so he's lying. He is doing that. That's like, fine. But like the fact that she comes in there to be like, you missed her do her first flip on the trampoline, and she's like, I don't know, like, how old do you say the
like at least daughter 8 or 9? Like
she's like 8 or 9, maybe even 10 or something. Like, and she's like yelling at him for missing the first flip on the trampoline, and it's like, are you fucking kidding me?
Exactly.
You're gonna come in and yell at him about that?
It wasn't her first word. Like, it wasn't her first recital. It was a flip on the family trampoline that she can do 1,000 times.
Exactly. Like, that's exactly what he said. He was like, cool, like, I'll see her when she does it again because she can do it now. like it's
if anything,
fine.
It'll be better the next time she does it because she can do
exactly.
it.
Like so many things that she was just getting so mad at him about that. Like I was like, are you kidding me right now? But then again, you know, I mean, to argue, you know, play devil's advocate for myself, it's like we're seeing like them not actually talking and arguing about what they're supposed to be arguing about, the actual issues.
Correct.
They're just finding any reason to get mad at each other and stuff, and like maybe that's part of it. You know, like maybe that's kind of the point, is like they actually finally have their big fight, and they actually talk about what they want to talk about, which is like, all right, like sure, I get that, but at the same time, it's like, oh, you're really just picking fights about anything. Like even the scene where they're like, she's like, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that, and they like start to have a fight as they're like going over the list of how they're gonna do better. Where she's like, we're gonna eat better, and he's like, okay. He's like, and then you're not gonna do that thing you do. Like, and she's like, I don't do that, and I will continue not to do that. Like whatever specifically it is, I don't remember, but like, I don't know. She just picks some random fights and stuff. But like
that's my biggest like hot take, I think, is that I don't necessarily like her as the like lead person, as like the lead lady.
I think it's her. I don't think it's Leslie Mann. I think it's the character. I didn't like the character.
Yes,
that
yes, exactly.
Like, I didn't really like
maybe
her.
That's what it is.
Like,
the character itself.
Yeah, like Leslie Mann. Leslie Mann, in my opinion, was great, as she always is when she's on the screen. But like she like that character had some odd choices and stuff that I was like, what's going on? Like, I don't know. But you know, it also could have been because she
Paul
was
Rudd's
sneaking.
Character's perfect. Like, he is very much like,
no,
again,
God, no.
He lied about 80K.
They sucked.
He's
80K.
obsessed with that random band man. When she said like, why don't you just find like a 15-year-old, like a hot 15-year-old, and make them a star, and so we can eat? Like, we have bills to pay. Like, I understand this is your passion project, but like, can we balance this out with like?
Fuck that, dude. Yeah, like I don't know. I just also like, just the fact that and the fact that he was gonna sell the fucking house. Like, he was like talking about selling the house with like his financial advisor and like getting offers on the house, and she had no idea.
Not a single clue. Like, that's the thing. Like, sir, like, you know what? Yes, for like every little like nitpicky fight that like, what's her name? Debbie, I think that's the character's name. Like,
that's her name.
Wanted to pick like. Paul Rudd's character was like actually causing like things that we're like actually gonna fight about this. Like, she's like telling him like not to eat a cupcake. He's like, the house is for sale. Don't tell my wife. Like, what? Like,
I will say though, also him eating that cupcake out of the sink at the beginning almost made me turn the entire movie off and say I'm not watching anymore, because that was so fucking disgusting. I wasn't ready for it. I was like, I watched it. I was like, maybe he won't do it. Maybe this is him trying to be better already. Nope. Horrible. Absolutely. All she does is sneak cigs. I'd rather have somebody sneak cigs behind my back than eat cupcakes out of a fucking sink. That has like shit in it.
I did make a note.
Disgusting.
That the most relatable point in the movie was her like sneaking cigs. Like, every time she needed to sneak a cig, I was like, I feel that 100% at this point in my life. Like,
it definitely crossed my mind, and thought it definitely. I didn't write it down, but I swear to God, it crossed my mind when I was like, "Oh, she sneaks cigs." Asia can relate to that.
Like, I wrote it down and was like, a scene I can relate to. Like,
I thought of I don't get in trouble for this. I thought of you and Savannah.
Stop
immediately.
Stop. Take it out. Edit that out.
Edit it out. Hey, this
editor,
cut that out. Cut that out.
It's okay. It's okay.
No, it's all right. Savannah, if you hear this, text me. Fuck you, and I'll know you listened. That way, I know you listen on track. But also that Kyle might just listen and tell her, hey, text Jacob, fuck you. Either way, it's fine.
Either way, we'll know.
Either way, we'll know, which I'll be totally happy about. That's funny as fuck. Yeah, I did low-key think about you. That I was like, she sneaks cigs. Asia loves her. Like, Asia loves this girl.
Yeah,
Gets
that's
it.
what made me rally behind her. That's what made me rally behind her.
Yeah, even when she was doing her bullshit. Also, can we just talk about, like, so this came out, so I wasn't a Lost fan. Like, I never watched Lost. Did it end
No.
in 2012?
No. So
Or
that's part of
before
the
that?
joke. That's part of the joke. So like Lost
Okay.
ended when probably like we were like in 7th or 8th grade, so like 2007, 2008. Like it was a
Okay.
big deal when we were kids. So that's why it's like her parents are just like
Oh, I know. Yeah, it was a huge
when
deal. Yeah, it ended
like
in 2012. I just looked it up. Or
oh it ended
2010,
it ended
rather.
in
No,
2012.
it
Oh,
ended
maybe it started
in
in
2010. It ended. It was 2004 to 2010.
Oh, okay,
Is
cool,
when
cool, cool.
it finally is how long it was. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah. I
so
just
she's
looked it up
not
real
that
quick.
behind cuz I thought it was like
No,
part of
she's
the
only a
thing
couple years.
of like
Yeah.
because there's a point where she's like, they're all dead. They're all
Yeah,
whatever.
she's
And
crying.
and her dad's like, and Paul Rudd's like, I don't give a fuck about that. Like,
Yeah, he's
yes,
like, I don't care. Get dressed. We
like,
have a
like
party.
that was
Like
big news
that.
like years ago. Like, can you wrap this up? Like, figure
Yeah.
cry tomorrow. Yeah,
Yeah. So like she is 2 years behind on what was one of the biggest TV phenomena
yeah.
of the time.
I
So
never
like she
watched
is two
it.
years behind. So, no, but I never watched it.
I never watched it. Heard it was great,
But I
but
just thought that was like, yeah, I don't know. I heard it was a weird, but like I just thought it was like a weird thing of like, I was like, why is she so obsessed with fucking Lost of all TV shows? Like I don't know. I get that they were like, I don't know. I obviously like they were trying to incorporate like kids are like daughter who's going through puberty is like on her phone too much and on her iPad too much and like won't
mhm.
hang out with the family and like yada 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 and all that kind of bullshit and stuff like that. But why was it Lost? Like, is that the bit that she's so obsessed with? Like this like show? Like, is it
Like
just that simple?
I don't know if the bit was like because she's a
Like, I
teenage
don't know.
girl, so it's like being obsessed with something like that. Like it's whether it's a boy band or
Yeah.
like a this or
Mm-hmm.
that. Like it's like Lost was like her thing, and like she made it where it was like, why doesn't everyone get that this is so
Mm-hmm.
important? Like it's not even that it was important to me; it was important. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and so like I think
Mm-hmm.
that was just kind of trying to show like the 13-year-old girl kind of vibes coming off of that character
Mm-hmm.
of very much like this
Right.
is the most important thing to me
Yeah.
now and you don't care so like I'm upset.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Like,
I
I
don't
don't
know if that's
know.
it, but that's how I tried to like
No, I
reason
mean,
that.
like that makes sense. I was just like, I just like every time she was like obsessively talking about Lost, I was just like, why Lost though? Like, why is that her obsession? But like, I like fixated on that, but that makes sense.
Also,
I
there's like
do.
a
Oh,
point there's a point there where she's like I or no, Paul Rudd is like his character and they're in the car and they're talking about how many episodes she's watched. And he's like, I don't believe you can watch
yeah.
100 episodes in 5 weeks. And I was like,
Oh,
you
I
100% can
was,
watch.
I was personally attacked. She was watching it in the car while they were driving somewhere.
Yeah.
I don't even watch shows like that, like in the car, like while
Yeah.
but like you can do that.
Yeah.
That's
I
a
was
pretty
like,
normal pace to binge watch
that's like
something.
not even binge watching. That's just casually watching
Yeah,
something over a long
like
period of
Michael and Amelia, they've been rewatching Game of Thrones. Like
time.
we've kind of talked about it in like our football league and
Yeah.
stuff that's come up, and like they, I want to say like 3 weeks ago they were on like season 2, and like yesterday they sent like a message or like a Snapchat to like our football league, and they were and like in the background you could see they were in the last season, like already.
Yeah.
And it was just
Like,
it's been like 3 weeks, like and
it's
like so
like,
they've
it's
watched
so easy. Like,
seasons of this show in like a few weeks, and it's like, what are you
yeah.
talking about?
I was like,
100 shows, 112
yeah,
shows, episodes in
easy.
5 weeks.
I'm like, have you
I can
ever like
watch like
a
literally
girl?
3 times that much.
I literally wrote like, have you ever like a girly after a breakup binging Grey's Anatomy? Like you could easily binge that. Like there's like 1,000
Like, are
episodes.
you kidding me?
Binge that in 2 weeks, easy,
It's
no
it
problem. Light
is.
work.
I have probably watched the entirety of Community.
Yeah.
I watched it one time back to back. I As soon as the last episode ended, I restarted it again because I was just in like a loop of like only
Okay.
wanting to watch Community as like a decompressing thing
No, I feel
for
that.
a while. I probably watched those 2 seasons back to back in like early the entire series back to back, probably in like 2.5 weeks at most. Like
Easy.
the
Like
entire
that's
thing.
the thing. I was like, it
Just
just shows
anytime
like,
I was at home and it was like I was just chilling or like I was like making food like after work, like before work, like anytime I had free time and I was at home, that's what was on the TV. I crushed it. Like,
Yeah.
so he's completely wrong about that. So he's a psychopath.
Just blew my mind. I was like, you have no concept.
He won't talk to his wife about the serious issues they have, and he doesn't think people can watch that much TV.
Yeah.
But he listens to this fucking old music, which is fine.
Yeah.
But he's obsessed with it and won't let the new music in? Come on, bro.
No. Like,
he would have some very he wouldn't even care about the beef going on right now. Like, he wouldn't even fucking care.
He wouldn't know who they were.
We can't get into it because this isn't a music podcast.
Yeah, it's
unfortunately, but like shit's wild, and I'm loving keeping up with it. I will say, just so shouts out Kung Fu Kenny. That's all I'll say. My man.
Yes, like honestly, just Google it. I was gonna say, just Google it. Just Google it. It's a lot to unpack. It's a lot to unpack.
Go down the rabbit hole. It's wild. And
it's everything.
Kendrick Lamar is just the best ever. Like, he's just insane.
Yeah, he's I don't know if Drake will recover, but we'll see.
Yeah, I know you're a big. We'll
as a Drake fan.
I know you're a Drake fan. I know you're a Drake fan. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You're like, okay, but also like you can't tell me Kung Fu Kenny's not how you're just like killing it.
It's been a rough. It's been a rough weekend. It's been a rough weekend. Some sleepless nights were had. I'll say that. As I was sick for my boy.
Yeah, I'm sure. Like, you should be. Like, he's not doing good. But but regardless, yeah, like, just like the fact he won't fucking like pay attention to any new music and stuff, and like that, but like that's what, like, again, part of it is like the immaturity of them and stuff. Like, they fight over like their difference in music and stuff and like everything, and like it feels like she's coming from a place of like, you should listen to new music so your business can do better and stuff, and he's coming from a place of like, but no, I don't want to. Also, I'm secretly selling the fucking house because the business is going bad because I won't listen to what you say, and like I won't talk to you about it and like take your advice and stuff like that. Just like, for a movie called This Is 40, I just felt like they were both very immature.
That's true, because by 40, like, I don't want to be having those arguments where I'm finding out key critical things about our finances.
Yeah.
Because
don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. I wouldn't consider myself the most mature 29-year-old in the world in a lot of ways, but I feel like when it comes to stuff like that, like, you know, like, I'm very immature in a lot of ways, for sure, but like, that's some real shit. Like, you gotta talk about that shit.
No, that's the thing. Like, you can't.
Like, I don't know.
It's not like they're like new in the relationship where it's like, oh, like, you know, we just are learning how to communicate. It's like, no, like, y'all are like deep in this. Like, y'all have like,
y'all got 2 kids.
Like 2, like, and one, y'all been married for a bit. Like, y'all should not be. Yeah. You should know how to communicate those kind of things, which are like, I'm selling the house, we're bankrupt.
I bet. Technical difficulties. It's raining as fuck here in Chattanooga. So the internet kind of crapped out, but that's fine. We're all good. What were we talking about? Exactly.
Okay. We were talking about binge watching TV, maybe, but then maybe we'd moved on from that combo.
No, I think we were talking about oh my god, what's it fucking called? We're talking about him being immature, bad with music, or like not wanting to listen to music. I think we're talking about like how like immature he is.
Just
just in general, kind of thing. But regardless, we can move on from that. I think I had pretty much made my point. I did have one more thing that just kind of like confused me and maybe felt like a little too niche to his life, like Judd Apatow's life. Mm-hmm. Does he have like siblings who are like 24, like almost like 30 years younger than him?
I don't know, because both of them had like both of their dads had like new families basically. So like I don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
If that is,
and like that bothered the fuck out of me.
I want to look it up. Like, I have absolutely no clue. Judd Apatow.
Yeah, live investigate that, because like that just really bothered me. I was like, so his dad has a set of triplets that are like 6 years old, so he's about to be 40, and like he is 40, and there's 3 like 6-year-olds that
Yeah,
his
like they're the
dad
same age as
has.
like his youngest daughter. Like, where did they come from? Why
No,
does
they are younger. They
yeah?
are so much younger than his youngest
And
daughter.
where did they come
Like,
from? How come he's so broke, but he has these 3 triplets? I had so many questions about that.
so
That still doesn't
that
make sense.
they did. There was like a one-off joke about like when the first kid shows up that it's like, um, he says he like the kid says he came from a test tube, like he was like
Uh,
a test tube
you're
baby,
right. You're
but then
right. I
like
didn't
but
piece
then
that.
like they
Yeah,
accidentally but they somehow had triplets from like an IVF
yeah,
thing.
because
Like
that's
it took 3
well,
times.
you're more likely to have multiples. So like
Oh,
they
okay, when you do
probably tried.
IVF.
Yeah, so they probably tried for
Oh,
one.
okay.
It's like that's the joke now. I get. Yeah, it's like they
Okay,
tried
yeah.
for
So
one and then
I
yeah.
get that, but like I'm also like the fuck. Like, that's why he gives him so much money too, is because he's like, I
Yeah,
have
that
3
makes
fucking
sense.
kids to take care of, and I can't work because of my blood pressure. And like that's his joke is like, oh, I can't ever take care of the kids or work or anything because of my blood
My
pressure.
blood
Pressure,
pressure.
like blah blah blah. And then like, and then Debbie Leslie Mann's dad, like he like left them when she was 8, and then married someone else, and then uh had kids again because they're
Yeah,
like because like those kids are like, which is like a little less weird I guess because I mean they're still like only like fucking 16, 18,
six.
20 years
Yeah,
old, but
that's
still
the
like
thing.
they still like
It's like
so far off, like I don't know,
because
it's
like if
super weird.
she's 40, like she's turning 40 in this movie, so like
Yeah, like they
he left.
both are, their birthday is the
Right.
same fucking week, like.
He left when she was 8. So like that's what
Mhm.
32 years in between. Like and
Yeah.
then he met someone, waited 10 years and then had kids again. Like and then
Yeah.
never reached out and contacted his other kids when he well, I guess he does talk to her enough. Like they had that awkward
Yeah.
bunch. But like it's weird to that I don't know. I feel like I needed more. Either they needed to tell me more about it or they needed to like not tell me anything.
Yeah, for sure. Well, like, and that's one of the things that's like super weird about the entire thing is like, because they're like, oh yeah, like, because they're like when they're yelling at each other later about it, like they have the big family fight like at the birthday thing. Like he says that they saw each other the other day, and then Paul Rudd's dad is like, and when did you see her before that? And he was like, oh, it's been about 7 years. So like they like hardly ever see each other and stuff. And like, I mean, he ends up being like good to the grandkids and stuff, like by the end of
Yeah.
it. But like, it's just a weird thing.
It's a
Like it's
very
just a
weird dynamic
weird
that doesn't
like
get really and that's not his dynamic.
that's
Like
not his dynamic.
no,
Yeah.
like he has siblings, but they're like he has an older brother and a younger sister and they're like
Mm-hmm.
normally spaced so like within like 5 years of each other. So it's like
Hmm.
I don't know where that dynamic came from. I don't know if it was just to add some like complexity, comedic relief type situations too.
Yeah.
Like
Just a little bit of
yeah,
like absurdity to their situation, like to over dramatize like the shit they have to go through, like and
yeah,
stuff. Like I don't know. I just thought it was kind of fucking weird, and I was like, I don't understand this part of it, and I didn't really like. I didn't think it added anything except for it's like, well, this is why his dad needs money. Like honestly, at the end of the day, like his dad
yeah.
just hits him up for money all the time because he
It would have
sucks.
been
Like great,
believable to me if there were no kids at all even around. Like before, like I just assumed he
yeah.
was just giving his dad money because like that's what like I thought that was like part of the sorry, like I thought that was part of the, like the thing too, which is like
Mm-hmm.
being 40 is like being in that kind of in between where you're like I'm taking care of my parents, but I'm also taking
Mm-hmm.
care of my kids. So it's like and
Yeah.
maybe that's what it is. Like maybe that's what they're trying to show where it's like you're like the ultimate caretaker at that point in your life because you have to do like
Yeah.
both. I
Yeah,
don't
you have to
know.
do both ends of the spectrum kind of thing. Like
Yeah.
maybe, but like I don't know. It was just like I don't know. It was just weird, and like
Yeah,
again, maybe it's just an over dramatization to like prove like
to
hit
get the
that
point
point a
across.
little
Yeah.
bit harder. And it's like okay, like I get that, I guess, but like it just kind of felt like I didn't think it added anything, and you could have just been
Mhm.
like, yeah, his dad kind of sucks. and then
Right.
like her dad like is a piece of shit, like,
They
and
could
like
have told that
abandoned
story
them.
without those characters.
Exactly, and then like, and again, it would have cut some time because they did scenes. They did those scenes longer for the bits and stuff like that. So like, I feel like that's part of my big issue with it is like we have so much complexity for the sake of complexity, and it ended up making the movie longer, which it did not need to be. So
correct. Yeah.
I feel like that's why I was like, I want to bring that up because it's like, the fuck. So this is kind of not relevant overall to the whole plot, but also is. But I also really want to talk about it because I think it is a kind of funny like side quest. And, the whole like Megan Fox and and then like Jody, like the two people who work at Debbie's store and like who stole the $12K and shit.
Yes.
Like that shit was kind of fucking. That shit was hilarious to me.
It's
like
so fucking funny.
Like,
because
like someone
Jody
stole 12K.
is not Jody is 100%
is
not who you expect Jody to be when she gets like introduced as a character, and then you see her for the first time, and you're like, "This is Jody."
This is Jody. Yeah,
like this is Jody. Like that's the actual movie.
Yeah, like that's
like,
the movie I want to watch. Yeah, like that's like, the gas right there.
Like her just like when she finally confronts her, when Debbie finally confronts Jody, and Jody's just like,
oh my god,
fuck you, Jody.
Yeah, just like is like high as a kite on Oxy, like and speaking in this all fucked up demonic voice at her, like under her breath and shit. God. Like what are you doing? And then also like they're like whatever Megan Fox's character's name is, they're like, she's like, Destiny. Is that your new Acura? Destiny, yeah. Like, is that your new Acura? And she's like, yeah, it's cool. It's not a Porsche though. It's like, where'd you get those fancy clothes and stuff? So like, it's obviously her, and like, it turns out she's a prostitute, like on the side.
She's like, I'm an escort, but like, I only do it like 4 to 8 times.
Yeah,
I only do it
4 to 8 times a year.
60 to 70 times a year.
Yeah, exactly. Like, are you kidding me? Like, I do love though. Like, I mean,
I feel.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, I feel like that didn't hit as hard as it did back in like 2012 because like lots of people are like OnlyFans people and like things like that.
Exactly.
Where it's like, like that probably is how she got her report. Like, okay, like it was just kind of like okay.
Yeah, for me, when Leslie, Debbie, like her, like she's just like, oh, okay, so it's got to be Jody, and just like fully supports her, and is like, all right, like that makes sense. I gotta go confront Jody. I'm like, all right, good looking out, you know?
Yeah, like
all right.
Questions, like I feel like that was like
hell yeah.
Yeah,
she didn't like the fact that she didn't like judge her for it or anything. She was just like, oh, okay, so you didn't steal $12K from me. It was this other girl. I gotta go talk to her about it. Like I was like,
only
okay,
question.
Cool.
Yep.
So I was like, cool. That's actually pretty fucking cool. Like and modern of her. So something that's not cool and modern that happens in the movie and seemed totally unnecessary and so out of left field. When the daughter, they come back, so they go have their little trip, the two of them, and Leslie Mann and Paul Rudd, where they eat the cookie and like they do all that and stuff, and they have a great time. Which I loved that whole thing. That shit was funny, so and like that was just like that's dope. That was just a great scene overall. Like great montage and everything. But and then they come back, and the youngest daughter has an ear infection, so they take her. They go to the Eastern medicine doctor, and it's an Indian guy, and Paul Rudd's making fun of him for his like accent and shit, and like making fun of like Eastern medicine and stuff like to his face and shit, and it's just like, okay, like this is like so out of place. Like it just seems so out of place. Like it's like, why is this? Like why do we need this whole scene? The only time it comes back is when Debbie finds out that she's somehow pregnant, even though she's 40. Is her gynecologist like says like something must have worked with the Eastern medicine stuff that you're doing, and like so you know your vagina like blah 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 blah, and like you're pregnant, like and like and stuff like that. Like it's just like what? Like I don't know.
I'm dying because what you just said reminded me of something that I really liked about this movie, which is that
Oh
it
God.
highlighted like aging, like what aging looks like for women, but also for men.
Right.
Because
Yeah.
like there were certain things where I was like, okay, like that's interesting. Like I guess I never really like
Mm-hmm.
thought about that as something that
Mm-hmm.
happens with age, you know? And the same thing with
Yeah.
like you were like describing Leslie Leslie Mann's like issues like through this was like very funny because like I
Mm-hmm.
understood exactly what was like happening, which was that she had a fibroid. The fibroid shrunk, and so the fibroid was like
Right.
taking up space. Like it was a whole thing, and
Right.
so it was just
Yeah.
really. So I
Yeah.
was
I'm
like,
like,
oh okay.
no, fucking guy was talking to her about some shit and said some shit started working. Yeah, I don't fucking
So
know.
then her body
I
just turned on,
don't.
and she was Gucci swag. Now she's pregnant,
Yeah.
so it's fine.
I
It's fine.
mean, that's exactly what he said to my ears. Like, he was like, "Yeah, that's cool." Like, he's like, "That's crazy how it happened and
You
stuff."
just turned it off and turned it back on, and we're back. Like
Yeah,
great.
like because you did this Eastern medicine stuff, and like, yeah, it was just like, I don't know. It was just
Yeah.
like that's the only time it ever came back up, and it's like, okay, so she's into Eastern medicine, and he doesn't believe in Eastern medicine. Does that mean we need to make fun of this man's accent?
Yeah,
No,
like I yeah.
like it does not, and it seems very out of character for Paul Rudd as a person. You know what I
Yeah, like
mean?
yeah, for that to
Like
be like
he's
an
a
approved joke for him, yeah.
please, yeah, please, someone like let me know if Paul Rudd actually sucks.
No,
Because I
no,
need to
he
know
doesn't.
because
He doesn't.
like if something's happened and I missed it, I need to know. But like he's like cool, like he's a good guy. Like I like him. Like he's a funny good guy. Might be a vampire because he hasn't aged in like 30 years. Like he played This Is 40. What is that? It's a 12 years ago. He was playing a 40-year-old, and he looks
Mhm.
the exact same, if not younger. And
He
he looked the
does.
exact same when he was in Parks and Rec, and he was even younger when that happened. Like, it's ridiculous. Like, so I don't know. Just let me know if he sucks. Anybody out there? But I hope not. Yeah, I don't know. I just like. Let's see. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like just like. Oh, I have this written down. So you know when Paul Rudd's trying to see what's going on with his asshole, he's like using
Yes.
the phone and the mirror
Yes.
and stuff. Okay, the fact that she like wouldn't look and was like disgusted by it, I was like, what? I was like, are
That
you kidding
okay.
me?
Yes, that was another thing where I was like, "Girly, like this is your husband. Like I don't know.
Like what?
Like was he not there when you gave like actual birth? Like
He
do you
said
not
that. He
like
said, I watched you give birth
right.
twice. Like,
Like
just
that's the
look
thing.
at my
Like just look
butthole.
at like
Like,
and like she didn't ask her to like feel or touch or smell or nothing. It was a
nothing.
simple glance, acknowledge, let me know what's going on.
Like,
Didn't even
can you
ask her to
see?
take the
Does
picture because he was trying to take a
no?
picture. Didn't even ask her to take a
Yeah.
picture. He just
Was just
said,
like,
"Can you
what
double
does this look
confirm
like?
that it's not anything we
Yeah.
need to be alarmed about?" And she
He's
acted
like, I know what it looks like, or like I know what what one should look like. Can you tell me if it looks weird? And she
if it
goes
looks
up and immediately goes, "That's a hemorrhoid," and then walks away. And it's like, bitch, that wasn't hard. Like,
that's
just
exactly
do
what he
it.
needed you to do. And you could have done
Like,
that 5 minutes ago.
I don't know.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I literally wrote down, she won't look at his butthole? Question mark. That's fucked up. Like, come
I did think that was
on.
crazy because I
Like,
was like,
that's crazy.
that's definitely something like if you
That's
can't
what
ask
you
your like
do.
husband or wife to like look at a spot on your body, then like who are you asking? Like, you know,
Then
like
what are we doing here? Yeah, like
where are you getting that confirmation? So
this is clearly not working. Like if you
yeah,
won't check that
like
out for me,
yeah,
like
I'm confused. Yeah. I
yeah,
definitely noted that. I didn't write it down, but I definitely remember being like, okay.
yeah, like it was just a weird thing. It was just one of those weird things for her character that it was like this character, like she kind of sucks. Like she's not wrong about a lot, but
No, but
like a lot of
sometimes
the
I'm like,
serious stuff. But like, come on, man. Like
yeah, that's why I was like, sometimes I'm like,
I don't
you
know.
like that's not that crazy. Like there's a lot of stuff you could be mad about with him, and this
Mm-hmm.
shouldn't be one of them. Um, but yeah.
Yeah, I think that the only time besides the end of the movie when everything is like okay and they like they're all good and stuff. I just love that the only time that they immediately without question agreed with each other is when they were in the meeting with the principal and Melissa McCarthy. They just instinctually were like that on the same page, and then like you see them walk out and they're standing far apart and they get into their separate cars and they don't like acknowledge or touch or hug or like kiss or anything. It's just like go, and it's just like obviously that's like a whole moment of like there's still something there. They're obviously still on each other's side at the end of the day when other people are attacking them, but like they're attacking each other in their relationship. And like I thought like how fun, like that scene is very, very funny in the principal's office. The most I laughed during the whole thing for sure, because it was just like one after another, just like funny as fuck. But then you have that, like, that's the whiplash thing from that good review, like that good quote I had, like, where then, like, it's like, that's a very poignant, like, visual storytelling thing that, like, worked really well. And, like, yeah, the whole movie works like that, but at the end of the day, I feel like that moment did it the best. You know what I mean? Like, I know that there's a lot of technical difficulties again. We're back on it. My fault, not the weather's. It's fine. But yeah, I felt like there was a lot of like super poignant moments that maybe I missed because I haven't seen it except for the once. But like that one really hit, and I thought it really worked. The principal, like that funny scene, and then they leave, and they're still, but then they immediately go to not talking to each other, yada yada, and like all that stuff. But like, I don't know. I just feel like I missed some stuff. But
there is one moment that I think, but the moment that got me the most was when she's talking to her youngest daughter after her like youngest daughter's like, I don't like when you fight or whatever she said, basically, and she's like, what do you want to be when you like grow up and like.
Oh my god, yeah.
So like, do you want to like, and all of those things, and I just thought that was really sweet because I'm like in that moment, like that's like actually her talking to her daughter. You know what I mean? Like, it felt like that was like a real moment.
Well, that shit.
Yeah.
That shit was super fucked because she says like, what does she say? The youngest daughter. She's like, "Do you want to have kids?" And she's like, "Yeah, but just one, so that they don't fight with each other." And it's like, oh fuck, they're fucking these kids up right now.
Yeah,
like, that sucks.
Exactly.
Like,
yes, and it just like, and her just like, because it's like kids are like brutally honest, so it's just like like she's not sugarcoating it. She's not like exactly how you're impacting her in that moment, and so I don't know. That was a really like real moment to me. In the movie. Yeah.
Oh, 100%. There's definitely like the drama versus comedy and stuff. Like, there's really good moments of both for sure. But like, I don't know. At the end of the day, I just still don't love this movie. And like, maybe it's like, I don't think it's just me being like, I want this Judd Apatow movie to be funnier and more like ridiculous and over the top, like Pineapple Express or Superbad, or Forgetting Sarah Marshall and stuff like that. Like, 'cause, like I like all those movies because like all the ones I listed of Judd Apatow, because like I can relate to Superbad, I can relate to Forgetting Sarah Marshall, like I can relate to all of the Freaks and Geeks, like I can relate to that. I've been through that. You know what I mean? Like maybe not 40-Year-Old Virgin, maybe not that one, but like and I don't have a stepbrother, I guess, but like or Knocked Up. Yeah, Jesus Christ!
I was like, do you have something to share on the pod?
Knock on some fucking wood is what I'm gonna do. Jesus fucking Christ. Edit it out. Edit that whole thing out. Don't put it out to the ether. But like, yeah, I don't know. Like, I feel like this is like a very niche movie about like this certain age in your life, and like I may like it more, as I get closer to that age and stuff. But like, I don't know. At the same time, I felt like some of the pacing was a little weird with how long it is.
Yeah.
Like, it's a little too long, and we talked about like why it's a little too long. We don't rehash it and everything. So, but like I agree with you though. Like that it has its place, and like there's a reason why he made this movie, and like why people are so I like it or I don't. You know what I mean? Like it's very very 50-50 down the middle on all the reviews, all the scores, and everything. Is like it's literally like averaged out to probably like 50% exactly.
Yeah.
Which is, and like I don't know. I feel like if I had watched this when I was younger, I mean, straight up, like you said, like it would have been like, yeah, there's parts that are super funny, and I wouldn't have even thought about the dramatic parts. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
I don't know. I don't think I can say this is a good movie though, personally.
That is
Overall,
insane. That is insane. But
like,
okay.
I don't know if I can concede on it, and I know you're not going to concede on it. You have very good reasons not to. Made some very good points, but like, I think we're gonna have to take it to the audience and let people vote on it. And I swear to God, if that comes back 50-50, I'm gonna fucking riot. I kind of want to experiment.
If it comes back 50-50, it's very fitting.
Exactly. Like, I kind of want to see what happens if we're 50-50, see what, when I post the poll, see if it comes back 50-50. Because let's put it this way. I don't think it's a bad movie, but it's definitely my least favorite Judd Apatow project I've ever seen.
Okay. You know we should have done instead of top 5, bottom 5.
All right, what's your bottom 5? Give me a couple bottom ones.
Shit. I'm not ready. I think hot take, Anchorman is on there.
Okay.
List.
No, Anchorman is the fucking
we're not ready.
We're not
ready. It's okay. I honestly I dislike that movie with a passion. But that's a different topic for a different day. So
I guess so. Yeah. Jesus. Let me see. Let me
that's my hottest take, I think.
Okay, because let's see. Scroll down a little
Maybe
bit.
40-Year-Old Virgin, just because I was like, I'm not a big Steve Carell fan. Which, again, I don't know if I should be saying that live into the public, but I'm just not a huge fan of him.
Oh, I get it.
And so I think that's where that stems from. Not the movie itself, just him.
So, but here's the thing. Kicking and Screaming with Will Ferrell, with the little, soccer kids.
Was that Dodgeball? No, I'm literally thinking of the movie Dodgeball. Anyway.
That's okay. Soccer team, hence the name Kicking and Screaming.
Yeah, sorry. In my head, I was like, Dodgeball.
But, and then Talladega Nights, Knocked Up is fucking amazing.
Never seen
that movie. You've never seen it?
Which is crazy because This Is 40 is a sequel spinoff from that movie.
Yeah, Leslie Mann is in that one. She's she's Katherine Heigl's best friend in that one and stuff.
And I've never seen it beyond
You have to see that movie. It's so fucking good. And then did you ever see Walk Hard, the Dewey Cox story? John C. Reilly?
No, I didn't. I do know
that shit is so fucking funny. It is so good. It is so fucking good. Okay, here's one. Drill Bit Taylor.
I've never.
Who's the producer on that one?
No,
it's okay.
I've heard of it.
The problem with that is a PG-13 movie.
Oh, I don't watch those.
Yeah, exactly. So it's it is what it is. Same with Year One, PG-13, not his best work.
I'm pretty sure Year One is his lowest rated film.
So yeah, out of the ones next to it, it's a 4.9 on IMDb, which again is shocking.
I'm pretty sure it's the lowest, and that's the movie good. With oh my god, Michael Cera
and Jack Black.
Yeah, it's okay, yes. I'm surprised that's actually not as rated higher.
Which is just crazy because it's Jack Black, a Jack Black movie with Judd Apatow. That's bad somehow. That's kind of
right.
crazy.
I feel like they could have salvaged that and made that into something. So.
Oh, did you ever watch? I have another honorable mention. Did you ever watch Love on Netflix? With
no.
With Gillian Jacobs, Britta from
I've never watched that.
And Paul Rust. Oh, dude, it is so fucking good. It is
Ooh.
so
when I
so
was
fucking
doing
good.
some research earlier, I saw that was one of the shows that he has produced. Correct? Is that a show?
He was executive producer on it.
Yeah. And so but I didn't do any research into what that show was.
It is so fucking good.
What? Give me a quick synopsis.
So I'll let's see. Let me go back to and hold on. I'll read you the log line as it's called.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god. Wait, there it is. Okay, so it is let's see. This is a weird log line. A program, so a TV show that follows a couple who must navigate the exhilarations and humiliations of intimacy, commitment, and other things they were hoping to avoid. So it's basically like Gillian Jacobs and Paul Rudd in two completely different places in their lives because they're just two completely different people, but they both just got out of really long-term relationships for like different reasons. And then they just happens to meet cute, and then they start hanging out, and it's just it follows them trying to be a couple basically and stuff. And but it is it's super, super cool because it's I don't know, it feels like it's from what I remember, I've only seen it once, the entire way through, because I watched the first season. It's got 2 or 3 seasons, I think. And I watched it all just as it came out, and I haven't gone back to it. But it's they're two completely different people. They have a meet cute. They start hanging out. They start dating, kind of that weird stuff. And they it's kind of interesting because she is very much not wanting to be in a relationship, hates the thought of it, doesn't want to deal with it, yada yada yada, all that bullshit. And then he's really sad and wants to be in a relationship again, and da 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 da. And as they get deeper into the relationship, they kind of divert, or they kind of swap.
Yeah.
Like that. She gets more into it as he gets less interested and stuff. And just the dynamic between them, and then but it's Judd Apatow executive produced, so it's very funny, and it's drama. Honestly, it's kind of like This Is 40. It's a dramedy. It's a rom dramedy and stuff. I think you would really like it. You should watch that. Point is, I still think This Is 40 is one of is bottom of the barrel overall of his R-rated stuff. I'm not. Year One and Drill Bit Taylor don't count because they're PG-13. They just don't. They genuinely don't count.
Okay. To be fair, yes, because ultimately, I mean, This Is 40 wasn't even my first choice for this movie. I wanted to do Pineapple Express, and of course, it's too highly.
Are you kidding me? I watched that movie when it came out, and I got a DVD copy of it. I watched that movie probably
I was even willing to debate why it's a bad movie.
Oh, okay. Well, I could do that. I was I can't talk shit about it.
I was willing to fall on the sword.
That's rough because
I would
I've
only
seen
have
that movie.
One sentence. It wasn't
what is it? Let's do it real quick. What is it? Why is it a bad movie?
It wasn't long enough.
All right, fair
James Franco wasn't in it enough.
And so it's a bad movie. And I hate it. All right, bet. So, all right, bet. All right, well, I think we're gonna leave this one up to the audience to decide. I swear to God, if they say if it comes back 50-50, I'm gonna fucking lose my goddamn
mind.
I'm gonna be so mad.
Truly torn.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll see about that. I'll post that on Insta. So yeah, I guess it's time for all the follow me on Instagram at Bad Movie Debate, all lowercase, all one word. Not on TikTok because I got kicked off of TikTok when I tried to make a TikTok. I literally made a TikTok and scrolled and didn't make anything for 2 weeks and just looked at some stuff, and then they perma-banned me for violating things.
What did you violate?
Nothing. They wouldn't tell me. They were just you violated the policy.
What was the video you posted?
I didn't post the video. That's what I'm saying. I hadn't even posted anything.
Oh, sorry. I thought you said you did post. Sorry.
No, I hadn't posted anything. I just looked at shit. But it doesn't matter because the government's banning TikTok, so it doesn't even fucking matter. So I'll be on Instagram, which is an American company, so it'll never go away. So it'll be fine. So I'll be over on Insta at Bad Movie Debate, all one word, all lowercase. Yeah, I'll post a poll about this movie because we need to know if it's good or not, and I don't think we're going to come to an agreement on it. And I'm also just kind of curious to see, if it's 50-50 or not, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Curious about that. Well, thanks for being here and chatting. It was a good time. Sorry about the technical difficulties on my end. It's all right. We edited it all together. Good. Yeah, we'll be all right. Is there anything you want to plug? Like, Google the beef, the Kendrick Drake beef. Google that. I will
formally plug the Kendrick Lamar Drake beef of 2024. You should definitely be looking into that. You should know about that. You should be talking about it with your friends. Prayers that everything is just rumors and that everyone is happy, healthy, and love. So that's it. Thanks, Jacob, for having me. This is my first time on a podcast, so.
Oh yeah. Pretty fun, right?
Yeah. I've had a great time, so.
Yeah, hell yeah. All right, well, that's about it.
Awesome. I'm excited to see what the world thinks about This Is 40.
We shall see.